Alright, good morning. So the sun is up, it's like 6:30 or something, and it's not hot yet, but it will be soon, probably in a couple hours. Hopefully the heat doesn't get to me too much today, because I want to try and get a lot of miles in. Pretty much not really stop at all, except for occasionally to filter water or whatever. But mostly I just want to get these miles in and keep moving. It should be pretty flat and easy miles. And I left Rawlins at about 8 o'clock yesterday, and I hiked until 9:45 or close to 10 p.m. So I don't know, I got like at least 4 miles in or something, and I was just really tired. I was thinking about night hiking late, but I could tell that, well, my calf muscles were feeling really tight and had like a slight blister forming on my left foot. So not a full-on blister yet, but I figured it made sense to stop, sleep and rest up, and try and get the miles in today. So I didn't really night hike last night, but tonight I'll hopefully do lots of night hiking. We'll see how that goes. So for some reason the CDT goes through private property, I guess. This is definitely the way you're supposed to go. I assume it's all good, but it's kind of strange that the CDT just takes you straight through private property. So this may look like a completely disgusting water source, but I think there's a solar panel right there, and I think there's a pump, generated by solar power, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be good water in here. Yeah, not bad. Looks clear. So I'm going to fill up on water here. I think the next source is 16 miles. The trail seems to be completely non-existent in this area. I'm definitely going the right way, but there's just no trail. I mean, it's obviously not that difficult, but it's kind of rocky. And got to watch out for rattlesnakes as well. But it's strange, yeah, there's just no trail here. It's also extremely windy right now. I don't know if you can tell because the microphone has a good windscreen, but it is extremely, extremely windy. Well, it doesn't look great, but might have to get some water here. So I think this is actually salt water. I think this is like a salt flat, and so I'm obviously not going to drink it. And on top of that, there's actually a dead cow right here. So yeah, I'm definitely not drinking the water. This, you might want to look away. But yeah, this dead cow looks pretty rough. Looks like animals have eaten out the inside actually. Like coyotes and birds probably. But yeah, I think this is actually a salt flat. Alright, so as you can see, it's getting dark now, and I'm planning to do some night hiking, make the most of the fact that it's not too hot. Well, now it's like a really nice temperature for hiking, so I want to get some miles in the evening, because today was actually pretty rough. Today was actually a lot more difficult than I expected. I was quite looking forward to getting to the Great Basin, because I was like, oh, it's going to be flat, it'll be easy miles. I can easily just crush like a 3 mile per hour pace the whole day and not take too many breaks, but that was not the reality of the situation. It was a lot more difficult than I expected, honestly. And basically the main things that made it difficult was obviously the exposure, in terms of just absolutely no shade all day. Well, I guess I found one spot maybe like halfway through the day where I found a really small shrub where I could get some shade, and then just now, but you know, it's the evening, so the shade was kind of pointless anyway. But yeah, basically just in the sun all day, and yeah, it's brutal. I mean, the temperatures I think were in Fahrenheit in the 90s, so in Celsius like, I don't know, maybe 33 degrees or something. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy. You know, it's not 100 Fahrenheit or like, you know, close to 40 Celsius. And actually I know that today in London was like one of the hottest days on record. In London it was like, apparently it was forecasted today to be like 39 Celsius, which I think is over 100 Fahrenheit in London. So I think it was actually hotter in London today than it was out here in the desert. But yeah, I was trying to hike, you know, more than 30 miles in the heat, so no shade as well, so it was pretty rough. And then the other thing was the wind. So I don't know, the thing with the wind is it made the temperatures feel a lot better. Didn't feel as hot as it was because it was really windy, but at the same time the wind was rough. Basically I was walking directly into the wind all day, an extremely strong wind. Because it's just so exposed out here, there's no shelter from the wind, so the whole day I've just been in like crazy wind. Seems to be dying down a bit now, but it's still actually quite windy. But the whole day was just like directly walking into the wind, and it was hard to keep my hat on as well, so I was worried I was getting sunburnt on my face. I did use sun cream on my face, but probably wasn't applying it enough, and you know, just constantly in the sun the whole day and not really wearing the hat a whole lot because it would fly off because of just mental wind. And basically from here the trail is kind of like going kind of west, like it goes like northwest, and yeah, often it seems like the wind comes from the west, and today it seemed like the wind was basically coming from the northwest, and I was walking northwest, so straight into the wind. And I don't know, maybe that doesn't sound like too big of a deal, but when you're trying to hike like the entire day, just constantly in the wind, you just want like a moment where you can just have no wind just for a moment, like, or also just like some clouds to cover the sun. But that just didn't really happen. There were a couple moments where some clouds went by, and I had a massive sigh of relief, thinking, oh, thank God there's just some cloud cover, some shade. But most of the day was really brutal, and it really slowed me down a lot, like a lot more than I expected. I thought I could just power through it, but it was really beating down on me and really just making me extremely exhausted. And the distance between water sources was 16 miles. I've done much longer water carries than that before, but today felt really rough. I didn't really fill up enough water, so I was actually quite dehydrated reaching the water source that I was just at. Luckily it was a pretty good water source. It was another like solar well similar to the one that I showed you earlier today, and there were a few hikers there, 3 guys. 2 guys who are from Montreal, the other guy, I don't know, I think American. And so I was hanging out with them for a bit and just rehydrating, ate a lot of food, and just drank like probably 2 liters of water or something, and packed out lots of water. But those 16 miles between the water sources took me a lot longer than I expected. I thought I could do it in maybe 5 hours, you know, just go at a quick pace, it's flat ground. But it took me, I don't know, at least 7 hours, and I forgot how much water I need to drink in the desert. You know, I really need to drink like 8 liters in the day or something like that, you know, like a 16-hour day of hiking or whatever it may be. I feel like you need like half a liter per hour, something like that, I'm not sure. But, you know, having spent so much time in Colorado where the temperatures were nowhere near as hot and there wasn't as much exposure, there was more like going into the tree line and hiking in the forest, especially towards the end of Colorado. And so yeah, just not really used to the fact that I have to be back on the ball with like making sure I stay very well hydrated.